Well, guys, welcome to another episode of the World Football Summit podcast. We're recording live here in Riyadh, and I have the pleasure to welcome Michele Ciccarese from the Serie A to the show. They're doing amazing stuff here in the region overall, and it's just a wonderful opportunity to speak to him about everything they're doing. Welcome.
Thank you. Should I say salam alaikum or should I say buongiorno?
Or you can say hola, because we're in Spain as well. So whatever you choose.
Hola.
Anyway, so thank you for doing this. I think it's relevant that we start this conversation with a major tournament that's going to happen here in Saudi in just a month or so. No, it's going to be early January. So the
It's
Super Cup.
actually perfectly a month.
Yeah, just a month away.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, because now there's a lot of talk in the industry about, leagues going outside and connecting with fans. So how is the Super Cup helping you connect with fans here in the region? Why is it important?
That's critical. And that's the main important thing to do because we can, of course, be close to the fans through the media broadcasting rights. But the real passion happens inside the stadium.
Uh-huh.
And if you don't have the clubs here and if you don't really give the opportunity to the fan base in Saudi Arabia or wherever in the world to be closer to their idols, to their players, you will never create that bond and that marketing relationship that you would like to have with a fan.
Uh-huh.
So that's why we are not new. This is the 5th time that the Italian Super Cup is coming to Saudi Arabia. What's happening is that we have a different format.
Uh-huh.
We've been the first league to come in Saudi Arabia to play a game. In a proper game, a proper competition. It's the winner of, used to be the winner of Serie A, the Scudetto winner,
Uh-huh.
against the winner of the Coppa Italia. Now it's the first and second in the Serie A ranking against the 2 finalists
Uh-huh.
of the Coppa Italia. And this year we are so lucky, and of course my friends of World Football Summit are invited.
Uh-huh. Thank you.
We have the 3 biggest clubs of Italy in terms of fan base,
Yes.
which are of course Juventus, AC Milan and Inter, with a lot of love,
Uh-huh.
especially from Saudi Arabia, but from all GCC
Uh-huh.
countries. And then Atalanta, which, in my opinion, and not only my opinion, is the best story of Italian football last season.
Agree.
They came as a little clubs from Bergamo, a city 30 minutes from Milano,
Uh-huh.
and they won the Europa League.
There you go.
They beat in final Leverkusen, who
The unbeaten Leverkusen.
beating Leverkusen after their huge, spectacular season
Mhm.
of last year. And Atalanta, I would say, is absolutely one of the best stories that we have in football.
It's a remarkable story, and it's going to be a remarkable Super Cup at the end of the day. And one of the things that I like about what you're doing is, I had a conversation with Peter Moore, who's the former CEO at Liverpool.
Yep.
And he was saying that he liked to manage with local heart and global pulse. And I think this is what you guys
Local
are
art and global?
global pulse,
Of course. Good one.
meaning, you have obviously your values, your traditions, but you also keep in mind that you have fans outside, especially in today's world. And I think it's a good way to prove that you need to connect with fans. And in that sense, Michele, I want to ask you, because last year at a panel at World Football Summit, you were speaking about how you were using football to promote Italian culture.
Yep.
So I don't know if you can go into a little bit more detail how you do that.
I will, and I'm very happy to say that after our speech last season, if you go on the YouTube channel of Serie A, you will find a page called Serie A Made in Italy.
Uh-huh.
And inside that page, you will have 20 beautiful content of the best player of each club
Uh-huh.
walking around the city of his club and promoting the country itself.
Uh-huh.
Because you said it right. I can speak and engage and talk with all the focus target audience, core target audience, who are the football fans of the Serie A, hardcore fans.
Uh-huh.
Fine. But if you want to engage a wider audience, the angle that we are using in Serie A is to promote all the beautiful things of our country,
Uh-huh.
which is the best way to engage a wider target audience. Just as an example, when we were doing the interview to Milenkovic at
Yeah.
Fiorentina,
Uh-huh.
we were walking in Florence, but then going inside the Uffizi Museum in front of Venere di Botticelli as one of the most beautiful paint
Uh-huh.
of art history and doing an interview. That's something that only Fiorentina can do
Yes.
because it is in Florence. Or with Leao at AC Milan,
Yeah.
we were walking inside the Galleria del Duomo in Milano
Uh-huh.
and overlooking the square. You know, usually us, the clubs, all the other leagues, we used to do these interviews or this boring content in their training center
Yeah.
with the backdrop, with all the sponsor behind it. Fine, but this is not what the fans are looking for.
Exactly.
And if you look at each country where you look at the fan base, and we are, of course, as every other professional league or clubs, looking at all the data in terms of fan base, in terms of core fans, medium fans, average fans. I asked to all our suppliers in terms of data, can you please give me two elements? One is about the fan of football, of course, soccer, the fan of Serie A, the follower of the other league. But can you please let me know, even in each country, how many people would love to travel to Italy? I give you only the example of the US. In the US, you have 30 million soccer fans.
Yeah.
Kind of, according to the YouGov data, 5 to 6 million Serie A fans. But if you ask to Americans how many would like to come to Italy, you have 62 million people who would like to fly to Italy.
Double.
So if you try to target this audience, saying, okay, you want to see Capri, but then go to Maradona Stadium and see a game of Napoli.
Yeah.
That is the way to tackle in a need with a passion.
Exactly. Interesting. That's smart, actually, because on one hand, you're using the power of the players, which everybody is using now because they connect better with audiences. You're making it relevant because you're focusing on culture, and then you're using, hey, you guys have tradition. It's an asset that you have as a country and as a league.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, you're putting pieces together, no? And we're talking about how, let's say, football influences culture. But I once read a book that it was interesting because it also said that culture influences football. So how would you say Italian culture influences the way you guys live football?
So if you look at the Italian Football League, the good thing related to the culture itself is that you can ask to each player, not to me, but if you interview any player, you will have that, especially a player who comes from abroad, that feeling of how the Italian culture is related to football. I always say that we have three pillars in Serie A. One is, of course, the fan passion, because when you come inside an Italian stadium, from San Siro to Lecce,
yes,
you will feel that emotion and that passion of the fans. The second one is, of course, innovation, where we are investing a lot of money as a league to have a better product in TV and even through all the different technologies. And the third one is, of course, made in Italy. So the Italian culture in the clubs itself, you can see in everything, from the approach to the game, to the stadium, to the fan passion, to the food, to everything that is related to tactics. And everyone was saying that Italian football could have been boring because there is too much tactics and less goals sometimes. Okay, in a way, could be true. But if you look at the ranking of Serie A today, you have 6 clubs in 2 points.
Yes.
Everyone is fighting for the top.
Yes.
And that is what makes a product interesting.
It is.
If you have this kind of approach, and then, of course, luckily, we had the last 3 years were amazing with all the clubs reaching the finals of the European competitions. Then, of course, yes, we lost a couple of finals, but Atalanta won last year in the Europa League. So even if the sports side is supporting the marketing strategy, actually, sports side is the first thing that then can help if you work properly on the marketing strategy. And the power of collectives is the main important thing when you are abroad. Before abroad, I was upstairs talking with the guys from Juventus, with other of your guests here in
with
the
Mike,
beautiful World Football Summit today. And what everyone was telling us is, it's beautiful that tomorrow, guys, you have a panel with 4 clubs along with the league. It's a way to show the power of orchestra instead of a violinist.
Yeah. You guys are aligned. And I think it's interesting because that's what makes a group, football grow. And I was actually speaking with that now with Hamad Al-Balawi about how important alignment across different stakeholders is, especially with a vision and an objective of connecting with fans worldwide, exporting culture. I mean, at the end of the day, you guys have the pillars. It's just each club adapting the pillars in their own way, which makes it relevant. And one of the things you were mentioning around those pillars is the passion.
Yeah.
And here in Saudi, there is a lot of passion for football.
There is.
So I guess it's a common trait there. But I guess I'm wondering, what potential do you see in Saudi Arabia?
The potential is huge, and especially where we are today. Look at KAFD,
Yeah.
King Abdullah Financial District. We are
Yeah.
in a beautiful place, fully renewed, amazing, and we are not far from Diriyah, where we have the culture of Saudi Arabia. And when you go and see the passion that the fans have in a proper game or in a derby, even of the Saudi Pro League,
Yeah.
you can feel and find again that passion that we are used to see in Europe.
Yep.
So the best thing is that all the local fans, they have also a club to pick in the European leagues.
Yep.
So that's why it's important for us to work in cross-marketing with the local community and bring events like the Italian Super Cup called EA Sports FC Super Cup.
Uh-huh.
Let me give this support to our partners like EA Sports. That is the title sponsor of this beautiful competition. And and it's going to be amazing. 2nd of Jan, Inter-Atalanta.
Yeah.
3rd of Jan, AC Milan-Juventus. And final on the 6th.
Amazing matches. And to your point, it is true, no? How really, how to frame it? Really leveraging that passion is the first step, you know? And then from there, you kind of like, you take the product, but you really need that passion and people actually believing and seeing and enjoying what's on the pitch, no? Michele, thank you so much. I just have one more question because, you know, you've been at several World Football Summit events now. And I want to ask you, why is it important for Serie A, for yourself, that these industry events happen here in Saudi?
You know, I always say that without dialogue, without sharing ideas, nothing will ever happen. Because if you are seated in your nice office in Milano and looking at emails, do the daily job, you will never have new ideas to share.
Yeah.
You will never have the opportunity to go abroad with 4 of the biggest Italian clubs and generate value in a panel, let them generate new connection. So that's why I'm happy to be here today at the World Football Summit, and I will always be as soon as we have this kind of quality in the events. And congrats for the job that you're doing, guys.
No, thank you. And congratulations to you guys. I think you're doing a fantastic job, and hopefully we'll have you back as many more events that you want. Thank you, Michele.
Grazie mille.
Thank you.
Muchas gracias.
Thank you.